My name is Gene Klein.
I'm Maddie Hasson.
Doug Liman.
LeFranc.
Daniel Maslany.
Congratulations on the recently
Let's just
released
get
trailer.
off you.
Thanks.
This Impulse. For my fans at home, without giving spoilers away, could you briefly explain what this series is about?
I think you should
My
take
God.
that.
Oh my God. We're
Sorry,
gonna do
Lauren's our showrunner.
In
rock,
10
paper,
seconds or less.
scissors. Yeah.
Well, showrunner's your title, so.
So it's a coming of age story about a young woman in a small town who realizes that she has the ability to teleport. She realizes it in the moment someone tries to sexually assault her, and so through the series we explore both the sexual assault and her teleportation abilities.
Now, so Doug, you're no stranger to sci-fi, of course. So talk a bit about.
In this climate, I thought you'd be no stranger to sexual assault. But I am a stranger to that.
Talk about bringing your scope, cinematic view, and vision for this YouTube series.
Well, I mean, what's amazing is that YouTube actually gave us the sort of budget and the bandwidth to tell a big story in a kind of there's a big sci-fi epic here, but done in an unbelievably grounded and personal way, and it's what I love about doing this story for YouTube is that we get to do 10 episodes, so it's a really big canvas, and Maddie, who plays the character of Henry, goes through the most unbelievable journey, and it's not one of these things like maybe in a movie because you give the character the power of teleportation and you have to sort of quickly sort of maybe move beyond the aspects that, quite frankly, I think are the most interesting, which is when the power is a curse before you can control it, we basically were able to go the whole season treating it as a curse. And it's way more interesting than, say, what I was able to do with teleportation and jumper.
There's a lot of versions of teleportation. What's the new and unique version of this one? What can we expect?
Well, I think first and foremost, this version takes place in a world where teleportation doesn't exist. And I think and the interesting part about that is that when it happens to Henry, it is not her first assumption that she teleported. That is, I think, as Doug said when we were making the pilot, that is number 100 on the list of possibilities
Of what just happened.
And every character goes through that, except for Daniel's character, who instantly knows it's teleportation. But every character in the show, when they see a strange thing happen, assumes that there must be a logical explanation.
Well, and Henry's character has seizures, so she suffers from seizures first, and so when you suffer from seizures, you can lose time. And so we took that and ran with that as well, that if in our grounded world something like that happened to you and you do have seizures, you would think, logically, I must have just somehow started here and woken up here, and there's a gap of time that's missing, and I'm not sure what's going on with that. And so
I just can't explain why there's a piece of the car here that I used to be in over there. But other than that, it was probably a seizure.
Right, absolutely. And so we took that and ran with it in terms of slowly telling the story, and not having Henry jump to some, genre superhero conclusion in the traditional way that maybe you've seen in the past. I think that separates it quite a bit.
And I really loved treating it as a true curse, and that she really wants to be anywhere but where she is at home, and she keeps getting sent back there. She doesn't get sent out; she keeps getting sent back to the no matter how far she goes from it, she gets sent back there, and that was really fun to explore, and it's an amazing world that she's trying to get out of. I mean, just in terms of creating a character that Maddie does such an amazing job bringing to the screen, that is so strong for her age, and it's because of what she's had to go through in her childhood.
For Daniel and Maddie, as you come on board, what's appealing to you about the story itself, the characters?
What I loved about Henry is that she's so strong and so serious, and I said in an interview before, I think so often in TV and a past experience that I've had, even as a young female character, people often try to soften that as the episodes move forward, and
a way to sort of make you more likable, which is a mistake because you're a person going through real experiences. And being likable is honestly not important. So I never felt that on this project from the very beginning, and it was very creative and freeing in that way. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And Maddie can get away with that, by the way, because there's just some characters who you don't have to soften, and you still root for them. And that's the star power that Maddie brings to the role. Is that, I mean, honestly, when I cast Matt Damon as Jason Bourne, I was like, great, I get to actually give Jason Bourne a really dark past, and you're still going to root for him because there's something inside them that is, is innately good. And so Maddie has that, so that we really could go pretty dark with the show, and you're still rooting for her.
Yeah, I love this small town idea. I grew up in a small city, and there's this real sense that you decide what people around you are. So that person's like this because I saw them do this once, and this sort of labeling of people around because it's such a small town. So it's really hard to have secrets from each other in a place like that. So I love that it's a small town story where everyone has all these secrets that are just on the verge of coming out. And then within that, there's the high school where Towns, my character, is, and he feels like an outsider within that because he's been labeled a certain way, and Henry's been labeled a certain way, and they find each other. And I just, really was drawn to that story.
As I'm winding up my final questions, you mentioned about the character struggling through the sexual assault past. How do you make sure the story tackles that dilemma in a way that's kind of sensitive and considerate of, I guess, our current climate right now going on?
I think we all take it extremely seriously, and we developed that concept in doing something like that before the Me Too movement, the Time's Up movement. And I think it's because sexual assault has always been happening for a very long time, unfortunately. So we spoke to assault survivors. And one thing we also do is we follow the perpetrator. There's a victim perpetrator concept that we use moving forward, where in the moment that Henry is assaulted, she teleports and as a result ends up crushing this boy's legs and makes him a paraplegic. So we follow the boy as well, which I think at first some people balked at, but the reason for that was because we also did research with therapists who handle perpetrators and why they do it. And I think there is a dilemma where there's an issue we have in our society where a lot of young men, for whatever reason, think they can do something like this to a woman, and we wanted to explore that as well, and gave equal weight to that. But we did a lot of research and wanted to make sure that we were doing something that was respectful and accurate as much as possible.
My final question is to Doug, big fan of yours. So are we going to be going back and forth between movies and YouTube, Impulse, and another project for YouTube series, or small screen, and what's next for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still here, but I didn't leave Impulse, and it's I choose projects that speak to me personally, and Impulse is I mean, it's a story I've been wanting to tell for years. There's something that connects to me on a deeply personal level, and the team that has coalesced around this, it was like an all-star team, and I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I'm hoping to be living in the world of Impulse for years to come.